You can love God, mean well, and still be toxic. Most times when people hear toxic relationships, they think of extreme cases of abusing, shouting, manipulation, control. But most toxic relationships do not take that form. They look normal, they look familiar, they won't feel loving at first. And that is why it is very dangerous. In this video, we are going to be talking about toxic friendships and toxic relationships, not to shame anyone, but to help you recognize what is draining you and what needs to change.
Hi everyone, today we are going to be talking about toxicity. What does it mean to be toxic? Who do we refer to as toxic people? So in as much as the word is subjective and we get to hear it everywhere, it doesn't always connote the meaning that we think it does. So today I'll be telling you what it means to be toxic. So when we hear of toxic or toxicity, we first think of something that is harmful, something that is poisonous, something that causes a negative reaction on a human person, whether it's in plain science or in human psychology. Dr. Ronell says a toxic behavior is one that, when dealt with so frequently, it threatens or weakens your psychological safety. So what does it mean for a person's behavior to weaken your psychological safety? It means that you fear judgment, you fear shame, and you fear punishment for making mistakes or sharing your own ideas to that person. So sometimes you might feel drained being with such a person. No, don't be quick to point fingers when you hear of the word toxic. You might also be a toxic person. Check within yourself and try today to change that toxic behavior, because our words and our actions have a way of lifting or bringing down others. We have to be careful not to spread toxic behavior.
Let's be honest, toxicity doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it smiles, and sometimes it's right in the face of someone you love. What exactly is toxicity, and how does it even begin? Toxicity doesn't actually start extreme. It starts small and sometimes almost harmless in nature. And it can show up as like constant criticism, like nothing you do is ever enough. It can show up as control. They don't say, I'm controlling you. They just say like, I just care about you. It can show up as emotional manipulation. Twist situations until you're apologizing for things that you didn't do. Show up also as gaslighting. You remember something exactly, but then they're telling you, oh, that never happened. Sometimes toxicity looks like silence, withholding affection, communication, or using love as punishment. And the scariest part is, you may not even realize it's happening because you're too busy trying to keep the peace. So, where exactly does toxicity come from? Most of the time, it doesn't come from hate. It comes from unhealed wounds. People who are toxic often carry deep insecurities, fear of abandonment, unresolved trauma, or a need for control because they feel powerless inside. Some learned it from their environments. They grew up watching unhealthy love and toxic relationships as well. Some also use toxicity as a defense. They hurt first so that they don't get hurt by other people. And some don't even realize that they're being toxic because they never learned what a healthy relationship looks like. But here's the truth that we avoid. Understanding where toxicity comes from does not mean you have to tolerate it. Someone's pain explains their behavior. That does not excuse it. Toxicity isn't always about bad people. Sometimes it's about broken patterns. But healing starts with awareness. Realizing what's unhealthy, setting boundaries, and choosing peace over chaos. Because love should feel safe, not draining, not confusing, and definitely not painful.
What to do about toxic relationship? Number one, confirm if it's truly toxic, not just you saying it's toxic. Oh, my toxic ex, oh, my toxic friend. And how do you confirm? By patterns. Do I always feel drained after having conversations with her? Does she always control me? Does she always belittle my ideas? Once you've established toxicity, the next thing is to decide what level of access you're to give this person, because the reason why this person has effect over your emotions is because you give the person access. And you can go about reducing level of access by various methods. Option A, setting firm boundaries. If you raise your voice at me, I will end this call. I don't like people speaking to me this way. Don't do these certain things when we are talking. And when they try to mock it, belittle it, and resist, this is a sign that this person is actually toxic and needs to go. Option B, reduce contact. Reduce contact and emotionally distance yourself. Stop over explaining. Stop being around the person. Share less information. After emotionally distancing yourself, observe how you feel. And if you feel like this is better for you, if you feel less drained, if like this person is still toxic, run. Is your sign to run. This leads us to option C, which is leave. Leave. When it's damaging your mental health, leave. And this leaving does not need any perfect closure. It does not need final understanding. It does not need any perfect conversation. You leave because of your self-respect. If a relationship is costing your peace, costing your mental health, it's time for you to leave. Then the fourth one is for you to expect resistance. After you set your boundaries and you leave, person will not be used to you walking away from his or her toxicity. Person will try to resist, to try to call your phone, but you have to stand your ground. Quickly stand your ground. Then the fifth one, which is rebuild yourself. The opinion that rebuilding yourself and healing is the closure that we should all embrace, not some random final conversation with this guy that broke your heart or with this person that has been exhibiting toxicity around you. What you should rather do is try to heal, have a closure with yourself from the person who used to be emotionally drained. The goal is not to label people as toxic. The goal is clarity. The goal is peace. The goal is healthy, life-giving relationships. Love should not cost you your identity. Friendship shouldn't drain your spirits. And growth sometimes requires distance. If this message spoke to you, take time to reflect and choose relationships that allow you to be whole. See you next time.